What's up, everybody, and welcome to Wildcard Sports. In today's video, we are going to go over my Week 4 picks. Last week, we did pretty good. We are now at 34-14, moving up the ranks, 83.7 pick percentage. Let's see if we can do better this week. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new. Let's just get right into it here. Cardinals versus the Seahawks, playing in Arizona, division game. Should be an interesting one here. Seahawks are the overall better team, I would say. Seahawks are dealing with the injury to Charbonnet, but it looks like he will be playing tonight as of now, but that could change. Kind of a game time decision here. Still like K9 in this game, though. So when you look at the matchup, or when you look at the spread, the Seahawks are favored by 1.5. They have that so close because it's a division game. It's in Arizona. These are going to be a tough matchup for both teams. So with that being said, I personally want the Cardinals to win. I'm a 49er fan, so I would like to see the Seahawks lose. They're more of a competition, I would say, in our eyes, the Seahawks. So I do want the Cardinals to win, but my gut is telling me the Seahawks are going to win this one. Seahawks just look like an overall dominant team, seeing what they did against the Saints last week. But yes, I know it is the Saints, so that could change our mind about the Seahawks here. So with that being said, I got to go Seahawks to win this game, even cover the spread at -1.5 on the road. It is going to be a tough battle. I feel like this one could be a low-scoring game. I know Connor is out for the Cardinals, out for the season, so Benson in there, hopefully getting a heavy workload there. But I don't think that will take the Cardinals over the top. Maybe Marvin Harrison steps up finally, but I doubt it. So I do think the Seahawks win this one. All right, moving on to the Vikings-Steelers. This one is being played in Dublin, Ireland. So there is no home field advantage for either team. Love the Vikings defense. Sure, the Steelers have a decent defense, but I liked what I saw from the Vikings last week. Let's look at the spread here for the Vikings-Steelers. Vikings -2.5. I was about to say on the road, but they're both on the road. I do like Winston there for the Vikings, even more than J.J. McCarthy at this point. I do think the Vikings will step up here on offense. Defense will help carry them as well. Vikings should win this one and possibly cover the spread. So Vikings on that one. All right, moving on to the Commanders-Falcons. Jaden Daniels dealing with some injuries here, or dealing with an injury. He's a game-time decision. As of now, it's up to the doctors to give him a go or not. Penix is also dealing with some stuff here, but should be healthy going into this game. Falcons had an embarrassing game last week against the Panthers. They got to bounce back from that. They're back at home, but it is against a very, very tough Commanders team. Do I trust the Falcons to win? Not necessarily. Let's look at the spread really quick on that game. Man, a lot of these spreads are pretty close. Commanders favored by 1.5. And that all depends on Jaden Daniels, if he's healthy or not. Mariota in there, I don't fully trust him, but sure, Commanders could still win with Mariota. They've proven that before. I got to go Commanders on the road. It's very hard for me to pick the Falcons at home, but they will bounce back, but don't think they'll win it. All right, moving on to the Saints-Bills. This one could just be a blowout for the Bills, so I'm picking Bills right off the bat. This is an easy one. And when you look at the line, it's actually very high. Bills -15.5. Earlier in the week, it was at 16.5, so it's dropping a little bit, but the Bills should just dominate here. The Saints don't even have a chance. Don't even see an upset at all here, but crazy things happen in the NFL, but I don't see one happening here, so Bills on that one. All right, moving on to the Browns-Lions. Browns with the huge upset over the Packers the other day. Did not expect that one bit. I expected it to be low scoring, but did not expect the Browns to win. Will it happen to the Lions? I don't think the Lions will let that happen, especially after seeing how the Packers played that game. So I think Lions will learn from that. Lions should win. I'm just going to pick them right off the bat, but I do think the Cleveland Browns will keep the Lions running backs in check like they usually do. So Lions are favored by 9.5, even after that Packers game versus the Browns, which is very surprising. I thought it would be a lower spread, maybe Lions favored by like 4 or 5, but obviously the Lions are a better team. So It is in Detroit. The last one was in Cleveland. That helped them have the home crowd behind them to beat the Packers. So yeah, I got to go Lions on that one. All right, moving on to the Panthers Patriots. Panthers looked great last week, and that was a division game against the Falcons. So, do people take that momentum of the Panthers, take it into the Patriots game? Let's look at the spread, and let's see what Vegas thinks after that Panthers game. And they still have the Patriots winning by 5.5. I would possibly take the spread on the Carolina Panthers plus 5.5 if I were to bet the spread on that. But are the Panthers legit after that last game? And I don't mean like legit as a top tier team or anything like that, but were people counting out the Panthers? I still think they're the same Panthers here, but I do think they have a shot to beat the Patriots. It's very, very hard for me to pick the Panthers to win, but I would take the spread, but I got to go Patriots to win that one. So, Patriots on that. Chargers, Giants. This one is going to be very interesting. Jackson Dart coming in to start for the New York Giants, and thankfully it is at home in New York for him, so he's going to have that home crowd behind him, but at the same time, he is going against that tough Chargers defense. Chargers are 3-0, so you know the Chargers won't let up on Jackson Dart. Got to pick Chargers to win it, but I could see some kind of miracle happening here. Maybe not the Giants win, but maybe Jackson Dart throws for like 2 touchdowns, over 250 yards, something like that. Who knows? Crazy things happen in the NFL. I believe in Jackson Dart, but I don't think he's going to win this game. Go Chargers on this one. All right, moving on to the Eagles-Bucks. This one is going to be a great game. Battle of the 3-0 teams. Right off the bat, you're going to say Eagles are a better team. This one is in Tampa Bay, so that's going to slightly help Baker and the Bucks here. Let's look at the spread on this game. And they had the Eagles winning by 3.5, which is fair. It could come down to a field goal this game. But the Eagles, looked pretty good against the Rams towards the end. They didn't look great in the beginning. I think Bucks will really put up a fight here. I just think Eagles will win it at the end. But if the Bucks win it, I would not be that shocked. I just got to pick the Eagles. I know it's a safer pick here. But let me know what you guys think of this game. Do you think a Bucks upset will be happening? Very possible. Let me know. All right, moving on to the Titans Texans, battle of the 0-3 teams here. The Titans are just young. They're going through some growing pains here. Texans don't really have an excuse. They have a good defense. They have a good offense. They just can't find that chemistry within their team here. I still got to go Texans. It is at home in Texas. Let's look at or in Houston. Let's look at the spread here and look at that. Texans favored by 7.5 over a touchdown here. I could see the Titans putting up a fight, maybe covering the spread, but I got to go Texans to win that one. All right, moving on to the Colts-Rams. Another battle of top-tier teams, the Rams and the Colts. The Rams are so close to being 3-0. Colts are surprising everyone, being 3-0. Danny Dimes in there looking great. The Colts defense looking really good. But this one is in LA. It's going to be a battle here. Could be a shootout. I got to go Rams to win it. My heart is cheering for the Colts, but I do think Rams are the better team. If the Colts end up winning this one, I'm going to be completely sold on the Colts, and they're going to be a top-tier legit team in my eyes if they come into LA and beat the Rams. But I got to go Rams here. Let's look at the spread really quick on this one. Rams favored by 3.5. I definitely think the Rams could cover, but this game could come down to a field goal, so taking Colts plus 3.5 is not terrible, but I got to go Rams to win that game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right, my 49ers versus the Jaguars. Niners are just cursed with injuries year after year after year. This past week, we just lost Bosa for the season, so that doesn't help one bit for the Niners. But even losing Bosa, the Niners still have a really good defense. It does take a huge hit, though, losing Bosa, of course. And we could definitely win this game against the Jags. Very winnable game. We are at home. Let's look at the spread on this one. Niners minus 3.5. So more than a field goal there. I definitely believe in the Niners. Brock Purdy should be coming back. As I'm filming this, it's kind of up in the air between Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, but I'm expecting Brock Purdy to play in this game. And, this could be a close one. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout by the Niners by any means, but I got to take the Niners to win this game at home versus the Jaguars. All right, moving on to the Ravens-Chiefs, one of the games of the week right here. We have some amazing matchups in week 4 here. This one is going to be a fun one. This is like a playoff game right here in Kansas City against the Ravens. Battle of the 1 and 2 teams, but both of these teams don't act like 1 and 2 teams at the end of the day. Let's look at the spread on this game. And Ravens on the road favored by 2.5. And I know the Chiefs haven't been playing well lately, but I do think the Chiefs will find some kind of way to win this game, even if it comes down to a field goal. I don't know. I'm kind of cheering for the Ravens on this one, but I do think the Chiefs will find a way to win this one. So I'm going to go Chiefs to take down the Ravens. All right, moving on to the Bears-Raiders. Caleb Williams looked great. The Bears looked great after last game, whooping on the Cowboys, but maybe the Cowboys are just that bad. Going into Vegas, looking at the spread, the Raiders are favored by 1.5. After seeing what the Bears did last time, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be on the Bears. But the Raiders are a better team than the Cowboys, I would say. So I'm still going to pick the Raiders to win this one. Would not be shocked one bit if the Bears end up winning it. But I got to go Raiders to eke out a win here against the Chicago Bears. All right, moving on to another great game here. We already know who's probably going to win this game. It will be the Packers. So I'm going to pick the Packers right off the bat. But Micah Parsons coming into Dallas, going against his old team. Like, what kind of storyline is that? It's amazing. I can't wait to see that. I'm sure he's going to sack Mike is going to sack Dak. It's going to be an amazing thing to see. So let's look at the spread here. It could be bad. It could be a blowout. You know the Packers are going to come back from that embarrassing loss to the Cleveland Browns and probably whoop on the Cowboys. Packers are favored by 6.5. Luckily for the Cowboys, it is in Dallas, so that's going to help them a little bit having the home crowd behind them. But I do love the Packers in this one, so I got to go Packers. And that one is going to be a fun game to watch. All right, moving on to the Jets-Dolphins Monday Night Football here. Oh, this is going to be an ugly game. Two really bad teams, 0-3, but I think the Dolphins are worse than the Jets here. But it is in Miami. Let's look at the spread before I make my decision. The Dolphins are favored by 2.5. They've just looked embarrassed, or they've gotten embarrassed lately. They almost won their last game, and I think they will play better here at home. This is a division game, so it's big for both teams. So I got to pick the Dolphins to just finally get a win here, and I think they could do it on Monday Night Football. All right, moving on to the Bengals-Broncos. This is going to be a kind of a fun one to watch. Broncos are a better team, even though they have a worse record. 1-2. Bengals are 2-1, but the Bengals just looked really bad last week against the Vikings. So right off the bat, I got to go Broncos to win this. Nick's going against that Cincinnati defense I love. So I'm targeting all the Broncos players, or as many as I can in fantasy for the Broncos. Going against a Bengals defense should be great. Let's look at the spread. Broncos are favored by 7.5, more than a touchdown here. So maybe the Bengals and Browning, put up a fight here. Jamar Chase finally steps up. T. Higgins finally steps up. Chase Brown steps up. Who knows? If that happens, I would take the spread on the Bengals, but I still think Broncos win this one at home Monday Night Football. All right, we got to pick a total for this. What do they have it at? 43.5. Let's go the over. I'm going to go 45 on that one. So those are my picks, guys. Broncos, Dolphins, Packers, Raiders, Chiefs, Niners, Rams, Texans, Eagles, Chargers, Patriots, Lions, Bills, Commanders, Vikings, and the Seahawks. So let me know in the comments if you agree with me, disagree with me on any of my picks. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy week 4. Peace out.